Aborigine, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines.
When I was reading to prepare for this interview, I was quite surprised to see you use the word Aborigines talking about African Americans.
You know, I've dealt with that issue. I've already, talked publicly about that.
And my purpose here today is to say that I'm very sorry, and I apologize to anyone whose feelings were hurt by my comment.
I've made very, very clear I don't know where that comment comes from.
Well, from your subconscious.
Well, I guess. I mean, it's not even a normal thing anyone would say, even if you meant something in a negative fashion. I don't know if you would pull that out. But for me personally, you can't just close down camp and stop trying to do the things that you think are right. Just because somebody, you may give them an unfortunate bit of ammunition, you still got to continue to fight on and do what's best for the state in the long run. And frankly, it's going to give me the opportunity to talk about things that I may never been able to talk about before.
You mean the bill?
Well, the bill, or talk about race relations issues, things like that. I mean, I have a freedom that a lot of people don't have because of that.
Because you used the word Aborigine.
Because I've been through the fire, and I can talk to people, I can relate to people, I can let them know what kind of person I am, and we can talk about things that sometimes have been a little bit taboo.
So because it allowed you to reach audiences you might not otherwise have reached, do you not regret saying it?
I think it gives me some opportunities. I went and spoke to a group in the city of Birmingham. It was a city councilwoman's community meeting, probably 95% African American, and because of things that I regret, offhand remark I should not have made.
Using the word Aborigines.
Right, offhand remark I should not have made.
Which you don't want to say.
Yeah, I know better. But what it allowed me to do, they actually listened to what I said, probably more than they would have anybody else, because they want to see, this is that guy, this is that person. And we discussed immigration, we discussed policy that deals with the county locally, and there was the ability to actually get across some things that may have surprised them, that they realized, okay, this guy's making some good sense on some issues. I don't know if I would ever have had that door even opened if some of those things had not happened. So it really has worked as a positive.
Because however much America strays away from the ideals of justice, the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up in the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before Jefferson etched across the pages of history the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence, we were here. Before the beautiful words of the Star-Spangled Banner were written, we were here. And for more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored here without wages. They made cotton king. They built the homes of their masters in the midst of the most humiliating and oppressive conditions, and yet out of a bottomless vitality, they continue to grow and develop.
You've come from and how special you are.
Can I just end with this one thing? These 4 brothers sitting here, we didn't all come from Africa. And there was a country before 1492, and our history goes way beyond 1492. So you can't start us at 1492. We were always here.
That's history only from us players. No, we love you guys. Happy American History Month. We back with some more players only. Only players, baby.
It comes as a great shock around the age of 5 or 6 or 7, to discover the flag to which you have pledged allegiance, along with everybody else, has not pledged allegiance to you. It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you, that the Indians were you. It comes as a great shock to discover that the country, which is your birthplace, and to which you owe your life and your identity.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna find out for myself. I'm not African American at all. My folks is not from Africa. And a lot of people in this room, folks, ain't from Africa. Might be a couple, but people just don't understand. I asked my grandma, like, yo, grandma, what's your background? She like, Redfoot and Blacktail Indian. What? Yeah, my mother and my father, yeah, we 100% Indians. Ask my other grandma, we got Cherokee in us, and European and Italian, a little Dominican. It's crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? That's why I'm African. Y'all look at me funny, like, nigga, I'm African. Like, you're not though. Like, you're not. 80% of slaves was already here. It was natives. It's crazy.
80. Where you get that number from?
Shit, I just checked the books.
Which book?
Yeah.
I got a whole laptop full of this shit.
Yeah?
Yeah, just for me reading. It's not a solid book like, hey, there's only 1,000 slaves came here. And nah, nigga, you gotta read. You have to literally read. Like, I'm so deep into it, I don't think about a slave ship. I think about, what was a slave ship called? Jesus. What the fuck was a slave ship called that Christopher Columbus was on? Who funded that slave ship? Who paid for that boat? Like, what was these folks' race? Like, what was their background?
Yeah, Mike, you want to come? You want to continue?
So, Walker, that's interesting. So,
why? It's like a why. It's not like I'm chastising. It's like, why?
No, but it's interesting because when it comes to, you're addressing identity, right?
So you're familiar with that boat, right?
I'm not familiar with the boat exactly that you're referencing, but I am.
The slave boat, the first slave boat.
Oh yeah, the slave boat. Yeah, for sure.
So who paid for the slave boat?
That was from the Europeans in terms of
what
the
was their
colonization.
ethnicity? What was their ethnicity?
There was Germans. There was individuals.
What was their ethnicity that paid for that boat? That built that boat and that voiced that boat, and
who were the people who built the boat, or who paid for the boat to be built?
It's in the books. It's just it's in the books. I'm not going to say shit because
we got to specify which boat.
Yeah,
and from
the
which
boat
part of the
Columbus was on. The boat that y'all celebrated Columbus Day.
It's called Jesus of Lubeck.
Yeah, and who the Spanish?
King Henry.
But we gonna get to it. Don't worry, we gonna get to it like that. Like, trust me, it's deep. It's deep, bro.
But the question I have for you in regards to identity, then, some blacks don't want to be called African Americans. Some prefer to call as black. So with you saying you're not African American, you're more of the indigenous. Your grandmother and your grandparents from the Native American tribes. Do you address yourself as Native American? Do you address yourself as black? Do you address yourself as African American?
I'm other.
So you're other.
I'm uneducated. I'm uneducated. So for me to sit here like a college professor or professor, I'm wrong. I'm uneducated. I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? But I'm damn sure not black. You're not gonna call me black. My grandmother's not Crayola. Like,
so no, then,
I'm connected to a tribe. I'm from a tribe, not a country. It's a big difference. Different laws, different everything. Like, big difference.
Let me ask you: Did you watch the BET Hip Hop Awards last night?
Yeah.
Did you see Eminem's freestyle?
It's crazy.
You like that?
Yeah, it's ill. But it's obvious that Eminem's gonna do that. Because what built Eminem's career was the black community. That's who took to Eminem. People look at Eminem like trailer trash. So for Eminem to be cocky and standoffish, he deserved it. Like, people know that man's story. For him to stand up, that make every person that's white, that's quiet and afraid to say something because they're gonna lose everything. Nah, bro, you wrong, bro. You have to talk. Like, there's a lot of people that's against that shit, and it don't matter what color you are. You got to stand against what's wrong and right. Because it takes away color. Now that Eminem said, okay, he's a white guy, all right, whatever. But it takes away color now. Now it opens up a door of wrong and right now. Because if you got a gang of white people like, yo, your white ass is wrong now. So it's wrong and right now.
It's wrong and right.
I would love to see what Trump gonna say about Eminem.
That's gonna be coming.
He hasn't responded to that yet.
So we're on Twitter alert.
Eminem got more white people in America behind him than Donald Trump.
Damn, is a new beef.
Literally.
But you know what I was curious about when you were still speaking about identity and not calling yourself black or African American. So then with the word nigga, because a lot of people get offended if someone who is not black uses it.
I don't.
Will you stop using it?
I don't get offended. I don't. I'm not a nigga. Nothing ignorant about me at all. What's nigger? Where did nigger come from? Niger is the word. Niger. Did you ever heard the word Niger? See what I'm saying? It's just how you use it. I grew up Cambodians, whites, Koreans, Mexicans. We all call each other nigga. For me to meet a man, my driver was an Uber driver. He never heard the word nigga till he came to America, and it's 2017. But we wouldn't know that because we in America. So we think in America, the whole world think like America. They don't. Black and white people exist in America. When a white person, quote unquote, go to Europe, no, you're not white. They're not white out there, they're European. So Europeans looking at you like a white guy. You know, it's different. All American. Like, we're Americans. We're not white, we're not black.
This is based on your travels. So you somebody who's traveled.
I travel. So if I ain't travel, I wouldn't know. So I know what's really going on when you move around. Like, shit is illusion here. Like, I don't think about nobody being racist, because I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you the look like, yeah, nigga, be racist. We'll break your jaw. Like, I'm not coming like, hey, sir, can I walk in here? Hey, yo, where the bathroom? I gotta go to the bathroom, sir. The bathroom right here? Thank you. It's stern. It's serious. Like, when you know somebody is wrong and racist or whatever, be serious with them. Stop trying to come eye to eye. Nigga, he don't see eye to eye to you, so they racist. So I don't understand how people keep protesting and doing those boycotting shit, trying to see eye to eye with people that's for over 40 years don't see eye to eye with you. These niggas' grandparents never see eye to eye with you. So how you expect the kids to see eye to eye with you? It's a different approach. I just don't really respect all these approaches. That's how I feel, and that's how the younger generation feel. That's why you got XXs out here like that. People look at XXXTentacion like he's crazy. That nigga's a genius. Like, he's 19 years old. People be out here talking about kids, like fucking Uzi Verts, and they kids. They literally fucking kids. They be grown people, like, sitting in rooms like this, like, yeah, these little hip hop guys, and they confused. And, nigga, that could be your kid, though. Like, why the fuck are you have a 30, 40-minute conversation about kids? Like, we have to fix each other. We can't fix a court system. We have to fix each other. Like, each other have to be fixed, period.
You know, I follow you for these reasons. I always like hearing your response to things, even if I don't always necessarily agree with it. I think you always come from a thoughtful perspective.
So wait, before you, but I don't want to make niggas feel like I'm on some other shit, because I say I don't want to connect with African Americans like I'm saying fuck black. It's nothing like that. It's that my eyelids is up, and when your eyelids is up, you read about everything you put in your mouth, you say out your mouth, you walk, you talk, and you conversate with. And I'm just up. I'm awoke. That's just what it is. I don't live for money every day no more. I live for the truth. That's just the difference now.
You posted something on your social media, and I want to get your feedback on this. Waka Flocka's here. You see why he manages me?
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club.
And you know, today is Columbus Day, but the only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace. So it's National Indigenous People Day.
Correct.
So we had to bring some of our indigenous people in the building.
Absolutely.
Introduce yourselves.
Yanaja Lone Wolf. I am Oglala Lakota, Native American, and Black.
Nikki Eagle Eye Banks. I am a former trustee of the Shinnecock Indian Nation and a tribal leader.
All right, so let's get right into it. People
Yes.
celebrate Columbus Day. How do you guys feel about the celebration?
Appropriation. There's a difference between knowing your race and your culture. And it's very, very key to know your culture. So last time I was here, we talked about 89% of African Americans have Native in their lineage. So if you're claiming that Native side, learn the culture of who you are and what tribe you come from. And don't just go to, you can't just wear a headdress or a choker and say, I am this, and you don't even know what tribe you are or where that derives from.
You have a headdress on now, right?
Yes, I do.
What does that represent?
Well,
she gifted me with this headdress today.
Yes, and it was a gift to my sister. All the reds, the water, the blues represent water. Colors are a big thing for Native people, so everything does represent something. The neck piece here, and she's wearing
I'm wearing my mother's. This is a tea dress, and it's a Sundance tea dress, and so it was from my late mother, Juanetta Lone Wolf.
Rest in peace there. And what's the latest on Standing Rock?
Standing Rock is still fighting. Even though the camp is not there anymore, they are always in the court. Free Red Fawn. Red Fawn is one of our political prisoners right now. And so we are still fighting on the front line. And there's other oil pipelines that's happening right now. The Ojibwe oil pipeline right now. We are still fighting. So that Dakota Access Pipeline, as well as the Keystone XL, which is going to go down the Mississippi River.
And we're also not...
start with slavery.
To Vi Higginson, the prospect of tracing even a tiny fraction of her ancestry back to Africa was enthralling. 60 Minutes sent her DNA to African Ancestry, as well as to several other genetic genealogy companies, to see what they could tell us about Vi's maternal lineage.
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
Kittle's company sent Vi what they call a certificate of ancestry.
Oh my God.
It says that you share maternal genetic ancestry with people from the Mendi tribe in Sierra Leone. Do you know anything about Sierra Leone or the Mendi people?
No.
Nothing.
People have been waiting a lifetime for something like this. Now, this is just a tiny bit of information now.
But they take it as huge.
Right, because it's cracking open the door that was closed for centuries.
There's a place in Africa you could say that I'm from. A tribe? I am thrilled. It puts a name, a place, a location, a people. It opens up such possibilities.
But the problem is, Sierra Leone wasn't the only answer Vi got. A company called Relative Genetics found a match to a single person in the Wobi tribe in the Ivory Coast.
Different? Different. Now, I got all excited about that, and this is different. Now, how could that happen?
Then a third company traced your particular sequence matches sequences reported among multiple Mendanka individuals in Senegal.
What's up with this?
And Family Tree DNA, the company that linked Vi with Marion in the first place, came up with a whole list of matches. This goes on and on.
My goodness.
So what do we know about Vi's ancestry? Your particular sequence matches sequences reported among multiple Mendanka individuals in Senegal.
What's up with this?
And Family Tree DNA, the company that linked Vi with Marion in the first place, came up with a whole list of matches. This goes on and on.
My goodness.
So what do we know about Vi's ancestry?
Really telling us? Can you help me understand what my results are telling me? Because I'm getting mixed messages from ads and how other people talk about their results. This is Wendy Roth.
I'm an associate professor of sociology at the University of British Columbia. Okay, first of all, these test results are not about your entire DNA. They're about a tiny, tiny fraction of your DNA.
Second, testing companies put together their reference populations based on academic research and other people that have taken genetic ancestry tests. And most testing companies aren't clear about how many people are represented in their reference populations. So what does this all mean for my results?
This is a probability with a margin of error. So it's not that you overall are 85% West Asian, but that the particular spots that they happen to look at, 85% of those locations are associated with Western Asia in their reference population.
So what about these other results? Am I really 2% African?
You've got a lot of, sort of small trace percentages here. Percentages that small are really not meaningful. Again, because that could be affected by having one person in the database. And if that one person gets reclassified later on because they get, a larger sample, that percentage will disappear.
Ultimately, DNA ancestry tests are really just giving us a probability, the testing company's best guess, and that uncertainty isn't made very clear in the results. So DNA ancestry tests don't actually tell us where our ancestors lived. They're really just giving us probabilities of where we're likely to have relatives today. But so what if people misinterpret their results? Well, that has consequences. They can make us believe that our ethnicities have these bright line distinctions between them, like in a pie chart.
When people are presented with test results and these percentage breakdowns, and they're led to think that these tests can tell you your race, or they can tell you who you are, that leads to a way of thinking. It makes us feel that there are very stark and clear biological differences between races.
One study found that DNA ancestry tests reinvigorate age-old beliefs in essential racial differences, that our socially constructed racial categories like white or black.
Results. I'm hoping Simone Gravel can explain.
Hi.
Hello, Dr. Gravel.
Welcome to the lab. Nice to meet you.
He is a population geneticist at McGill University in Montreal.
Last time you saw your DNA, I'm guessing it was in a little tube like this.
I spit in quite a few of those,
That's right. So once you send those to the companies, they'll take your saliva, they clean it up, they will break down the cells so they can free the DNA, and then clean the DNA, break it into small pieces, and then they lay it out on one of these chips here.
So if we look at that chip, will my spit on this chip tell me that definitively I am Italian or definitively I'm from wherever?
No. There's a lot of steps that go in between, a lot of statistical interpretation and models, and whose genome your genome is being compared to.
Here's how it works. Our entire DNA is made up of 3 billion parts. Ancestry companies, though, look at less than 1% of those, about 700,000 sections where they know there are slight differences or variants among humans. Then they compare the patterns of your differences to groups of people in their databases. And with the help of math, they try to figure out which groups you most likely belong to.
It's not 100% sure. So statistics tell us in our model what's the best situation. It is a statistical guess.
Yeah.
It's an informed guess, but it's never a 100% sure thing.
Timothy Caulfield is a health policy professor who studies the ancestry business.
It's an exciting story, right? It's about you, right? And so I get why they're doing it, but is it really what's happening? Can they really be that accurate? I think they're selling something that isn't really supported by the science.
With 23andMe.com, you can find out your percentages of DNA from 31 populations around the world.
What do you think about the messages that are being sent to consumers?
I think it's misleading. These companies are really trying to push the idea that this is scientific, right? They are using scientific language and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science. They can have a little bit of fun with this stuff. Don't take it too seriously, but know that you are just getting some information that is an approximation of how your DNA compares to other people. It's not tracing back your heritage. It's not tracing back your heritage. It's not tracing back your heritage.
It's not tracing back your heritage.